In an instant, the entire sky turned crimson, engulfed entirely by a sea of fire. The rapidly approaching ice blocks were instantly melted by the blazing inferno, turning into steam that rose into the sky. In moments, aside from the fire, the world was shrouded in drifting white mist. The wind demon's pupils contracted sharply as she gasped. She had already overestimated Wang Lin, but now she realized her understanding had still fallen short. This man before her wasn't just formidable, he was terrifying. Even at her peak, she wouldn't dare claim complete victory against him. Now, reborn with only the cultivation base of the late glimpse of Nirvana stage, she stood no chance. Yao Shishua's matter is the final trial in my mastery of the path of cause and effect. For centuries, without realizing it, I've become part of this karmic bond. Only by fully integrating into it can I comprehend the conceptual realm I seek. Like hell itself, how can one know its nature without descending into it? Clarity surged in Wang Lin's eyes as he stepped forward. Fire roared around him, and with every stride, the sea of flames intensified, billowing skyward in a blazing torrent, radiating scorching heat as it surged toward the wind demon. Her mind reeled. Gritting her teeth, she raised her right hand and pointed to the sky, shouting, "Rule of wind." The moment the words left her mouth, a demonic wind howled into existence, swirling around her body before erupting into countless shards of wind. Under her command, they shot forward, all aimed straight at Wang Lin. In that instant, heaven and earth changed. The demonic wind filled everything, and even the ocean below rumbled as tidal waves rose violently. Cracks spread across the sky like a shattered mirror under the relentless demonic gales, threatening to collapse. The wind shards, like countless blades, slashed through the air, dimming even the raging sea of fire as if it were on the verge of being extinguished. Yet when those winds struck Wang Lin, they couldn't force him back a single step. He walked forward slowly, step by step, letting the winds batter his body. Now that I've stepped into this karmic web, only by breaking through it all can I fully master the path of cause and effect. Only then can my Tao heart transcend. Wang Lin clenched his right fist. At the very moment he uttered the word break, he slammed his fist forward with explosive force. With a thunderous boom, an ancient god phantom abruptly materialized, its head brushing the heavens, its feet planted deep in the sea. The phantom mirrored Wang Lin, throwing its right fist in unison. "Ancient god!" The wind demon gasped. That terrifying aura she sensed earlier had felt familiar, but the passage of ages had buried too many memories. Now, with the sight of the phantom, they came flooding back. "You're actually an ancient god." Her scalp tingled as panic surged through her. Without hesitation, her body exploded backward, turning into a gust of wind as she fled at blinding speed. Everything I've done was not an error. The reason the path of cause and effect has not yet reached completion is because my Tao heart, forged through a millennium of slaughter, became flawed, corrupted by an inner demon. Wang Lin's punch collided head-on with the endless demonic wind. The impact rang out in a thunderous cacophony as the winds were torn apart, scattered in every direction. He stared toward the place where the wind demon had vanished without a trace. His expression remained calm. With a pad on his storage pouch, a withered talisman appeared in his hand. He slapped it onto his chest. The moment the talisman touched him, a dark wind burst from Wang Lin's body, spiraling into a towering vortex that filled the heavens and earth. At the same time, the sea beneath him was drawn into a massive vortex. Within that whirlwind, a sky-piercing screech erupted, as if to shatter the very heavens. In that piercing cry, a pitch-black raptor bird emerged from the black wind. Its wings spread wide. Though its body was only a few dozen feet tall, in the blink of an eye, it expanded endlessly until it reached tens of thousands of feet across. Its vast form could blot out the sky. With its world-shattering cry, Wang Lin took a single step forward, and instantly felt an overwhelming force of wind pressing against him, like city walls charging head-on. But with his ancient god physique, those wall-like winds crumbled before him. His speed defied all description. It was not the shrinking earth technique, but with just one step, he seemed to break through the boundary between heaven and earth and moved forward without pause. The wind demon fled with all her might, fearing Wang Lin would once again use that strange divine art to close the distance. She poured every ounce of her demonic aura into forming a barrier around herself, pushing her body to its limits in a desperate attempt to escape. The spread of demonic aura caused a massive demon shadow to materialize around her body. The wind demon had great confidence in her speed. But just as she thought she had escaped his grasp, a thunderous tearing sound echoed behind her, like the roar of lightning splitting the air. Turning her head, the wind demon was instantly struck with soul annihilation. Behind her, Wang Lin closed in at an unimaginable speed. As he approached, the vortex that had appeared earlier on the sea below surged forward as well. The sheer speed caused the ocean beneath to erupt with an earth-shaking roar, as if all the seawater were being stirred into chaos. The result of this lies within my Tao heart. The only way to break it is to end the karmic bond between us that brought me clarity. What damned karmic bond? I don't understand a word you're saying. If you insist on hounding me, then I'll risk everything to destroy you right here and now, the wind demon shrieked. She gave up on fleeing. Her once dependable speed was laughable before him. Escape was impossible. Having devoured the memories of Yao Shishua, the wind demon could no longer suppress the overwhelming hatred within her. It surged forth with the intensity of pursuit, twisting her scarred face into something even more sinister. The runes formed by the scars across her face now glowed with a flickering green light. Ancient demon artifact, demon ceiling, god-locking banner, she roared, raising both arms toward the sky. Her entire body erupted with demonic aura, pouring out in a frenzied torrent that condensed rapidly around her hands. Under this flood of boundless demonic aura, the world was instantly cloaked in a chilling gloom. The surroundings showed signs of freezing, and a mournful wind howled through the air. Above the wind demon, within the surging aura, flashes of green lightning crackled. As the aura thickened, 3 green banners emerged from it, materializing before her eyes. The instant the 3 green banners appeared, the wind and clouds turned turbulent. Below, the sea seemed to be torn apart by some strange force, waves roaring outward in every direction. On those banners, countless ethereal shadows suddenly appeared. Among them stood 1 ancient god and 2 ancient demons, each with a single horn on their heads. Even more terrifying, with the arrival of the 3 banners, not only did the sea fall into turmoil, but even the realm itself became unstable. As the ocean surged violently, every restriction seal in the area was triggered, activating all at once. With the seals triggered, the sea below erupted in massive waves. The waters rapidly condensed, forming countless deep trenches where the ocean had receded. These crisscrossing trenches made the sea all the more turbulent. But what truly shocked the heavens was this. From above, if one looked down, the boundless sea, its waters receding and reshaping, formed the outline of a humanoid figure. The wind demon, face twisted with fury, ignored the sea's transformation. She formed a hand seal with her right hand and began chanting in a strange, ancient tongue, language of the ancient clan. When spoken by an ancient god, it carried an air of timeless majesty, but from the wind demon's mouth, it came out sharp, eerie, and sinister. She pointed forward, and the 3 small banners spun into a spiral around her. Thick green mist flowed from them. Within that mist, a colossal phantom formed, thousands of zhang tall. It loomed sky-high the moment it appeared, as if the very world could not contain it. At the center of the phantom's forehead, 6 star marks rotated endlessly. On either side of this ancient god phantom, 2 smaller figures formed from the swirling green mist. Though only 100 zhang tall, the moment they appeared, they unleashed an overwhelming demonic aura, straining against the green mist as if trying to break free. Each of these demon phantoms had 6 rotating star marks in their left eyes. The moment Wang Lin saw them, his pupils contracted sharply. Standing before the 3 phantoms, the wind demon completed her hand seal and locked her gaze on Wang Lin. She growled lowly, "I don't care if you're an ancient god. Today, you'll become the master banner of the sacred artifact of my ancient demon clan." A murderous glint flashed in her eyes. With a thrust of her right hand, the 3 phantoms behind her let out sky-shaking roars. The six-star ancient god stepped forward, clenched its massive fist, and hurled it straight at Wang Lin with a thunderous boom. The two ancient demon phantoms blurred forward from either side, surging with bloodthirsty aura, as if intent on devouring him. Though Bei Luo was not of royal blood among the ancient demon clan, he was no ordinary demon. The demon sealing, god-locking banner had been gifted to him by the royal ancient demons. Though it was not a royal sacred artifact, its power was immense, harboring incredible divine abilities. At its full power, Bei Luo possessed the true god-sealing locking demon banner. Once activated, 49 small flags would immediately spread throughout the heavens and earth. The people sealed within these flags weren't all killed by him, but by the past generations of the banner's previous owners. This ancient demon artifact was passed down through the lineage of the ancient demon clan, and Bei Luo was merely the seventh owner. It was said that the first owner of this artifact wielded the power to reach the heavens, strong enough to battle the ancient gods of later generations. This individual was one of the rare fourth-generation ancient demons in this world. Back in the day, the ancient clan had reversed the course of cultivation, splitting into three distinct branches: the ancient gods, ancient demons, and ancient devils. The first generation of these beings were the original ancient gods, ancient demons, and ancient devils, their bodies still retaining vast amounts of ancient bloodline and inheritance. The second generation emerged thereafter. While their ancient bloodlines were not as potent as the first generations, they still carried a significant trace of it. As time passed, the bloodline and inheritance of the three clans became progressively more diluted, until the final generations barely contained any trace at all. The so-called royal families are the portion of these three clans that retain the most of their ancient bloodlines, being the direct descendants of the first-generation ancestors of the clans. Bei Luo, technically the 79th generation of the ancient demon clan, was the seventh master of this artifact, yet its origins stretched far back, with an impressive lineage. However, the Wind Demon had abandoned her ancient demon identity. Her demonic body had long since collapsed, and she could no longer wield the true power of the artifact. The three flags she had summoned were only a manifestation of her demonic aura, similar to how Wang Lin had summoned the god-slaying spear. At that moment, with a flick of her right hand, the three flags materialized, each containing illusions of ancient gods and demons, charging straight toward Wang Lin. His eyes flashed as he immediately sensed the danger. Without hesitation, he reached out with his right hand, tearing open a massive rift in space with a thunderous roar. It was as if a gigantic chasm had appeared in the sky, and arcs of electric lightning dashed across its edges, accompanied by booming thunder. At the same time, with his right hand raised, a terrifying aura of oppression surged forth from the rift, shaking the heavens and the earth. The intensity of this pressure instantly changed the Wind Demon's expression. The sound of explosions reverberated throughout the sky. A black light shot out from the rift, landing directly in Wang Lin's hand, the god-slaying spear. Ancient god royal artifact. The Wind Demon, with her memories intact, immediately recognized the god-slaying spear. Her pupils constricted as she gasped, horror flashing in her eyes. "You are of the royal ancient gods." Wang Lin, holding the god-slaying spear in his right hand, swung it forward, and the approaching six-star ancient god immediately trembled, staring intently at the spear. His dull eyes suddenly sparked with a newfound brilliance. Though this was merely a standard six-star ancient god, he was even weaker than Bei Luo in terms of lineage. The moment he saw his clan's sacred artifact, his body froze, trembling in awe. If the god-sealing locking demon banner had appeared in its true form, the result would have been different. But the Wind Demon had only manifested a mere illusion of the artifact, drastically reducing its power. Even the gods and demons sealed within it were weakened tremendously. The Wind Demon cursed internally, blaming Yao Shishue for involving such a terrifying being. Had he known that Yao Shishue had provoked Wang Lin, he would never have agreed to fuse with her. Damn it! In Yao Shishue's memories, this person was just a fragile, helpless being who could be killed with a single finger. How could he be an ancient god, and even worse, a royal ancient god? The Wind Demon understood clearly that royal bloodlines within any of the three clans had become exceedingly rare, almost extinct. The only reason Bei Luo encountered a royal ancient demon was by chance. Had the Wind Demon encountered anyone else, even Situ Nan, he would have been confident in his ability to deal with them with his superior speed and various techniques. But facing Wang Lin, all his abilities were nullified. His speed, his divine arts, even his artifacts, all were no match for Wang Lin's royal weapon. At this moment, as Wang Lin swung the god-slaying spear, the very heavens seemed to shudder, and the world itself trembled violently. The god-slaying spear whistled as it shot forward, targeting the two trembling ancient demons. These two ancient demons were also mere illusions and lacked the true power of the god-sealing locking demon banner. If they were to face a normal cultivator, they might be able to fight. But against the god-slaying spear, an artifact of the royal ancient gods, they were utterly powerless. With incredible speed, the god-slaying spear pierced through one of the ancient demons in an instant. The demon's body trembled as it dissolved into countless demonic energies, which were absorbed by the spear, scattering like smoke. The Wind Demon's eyes widened in shock. Faced with a life-or-death crisis, she wasted no time. She spat out a mouthful of blood and swiftly drew a strange rune in the air with her right hand. Pointing forward, she shouted, "Flag destruction!" 3 illusory shadows of a green banner appeared, spinning violently. Under the command of the Wind Demon's finger, they instantly collapsed, transforming into a colossal shockwave, like a giant green dragon racing toward the god-slaying spear. As the banners disintegrated, the remaining ancient gods and ancient demons also shattered, merging into the body of the massive dragon, enhancing its overwhelming might. The god-slaying spear and the green dragon collided at an astonishing speed. The moment they touched, a huge sphere, around 100 feet in diameter, appeared between the two artifacts. Inside the sphere, dark green energy spiraled and intertwined, with ring-like beams of light flashing and swirling around its exterior. The continuous boom-boom sound echoed from within. A terrifying aura of destruction instantly spread out. This was a clash of the ancient god and ancient demon artifacts. One was the illusory god-slaying spear of the royal ancient gods, and the other was a relic from the earliest 4 generations of the ancient demon clan. Neither of them was the real body. Both were projections. The difference in power was immediately clear. The black energy inside the sphere was filled with a wild, domineering force, as if it could destroy anything standing in its way. Under its impact, the green energy struggled, but ultimately couldn't escape defeat. As the green energy continued to retreat, the black energy gradually took over the sphere. In that instant, the sphere exploded with a deafening roar, shaking the heavens and the earth. The sound of the explosion ripped through the sky, even stirring up waves in the sea below. With the collapse of the shockwave, the massive green dragon shattered and vanished. The god-slaying spear surged forward, heading straight for the Wind Demon. The Wind Demon spat out blood. His artifact had been destroyed. Though it was an illusory projection, it was still connected to his demonic aura, and now he was severely injured. Seeing the god-slaying spear approaching, the Wind Demon's face turned pale as he swiftly retreated. Wang Lin's expression was cold as he immediately pursued. "You and Yao Shishue? I had no part in it. You keep going on about cause and effect. What the hell does the Wind Demon have to do with cause and effect?" The Wind Demon roared furiously. "You were originally outside the cause and effect, but you chose to force yourself into it. If you leave Yao Shishua's body now, I will let you go." "Bullshit. I'm just a memory. How can I leave?" The Wind Demon gritted his teeth, secretly regretting merging with Yao Shishua. Although he didn't fully understand cause and effect, he vaguely sensed that his fusion had trapped him in a scheme with no way out. The god-slaying spear howled as it closed in on the Wind Demon. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. At that moment, Wang Lin's expression changed. Without hesitation, his body flickered and disappeared. Just then, a hand made of seawater shot up from where Wang Lin had just been, grabbing the approaching god-slaying spear. With a powerful squeeze, the god-slaying spear emitted a dense black glow. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed coldly as he shouted, "Collapse!" As soon as the command was given, The black light on the god-slaying spear rapidly expanded, like a black sun, even turning the seawater arm holding the spear into blackness. When the black reached its peak, a huge explosion erupted, shaking the heavens and the earth. A destructive shockwave swept out in all directions, causing the seawater arm to collapse. The seawater that formed the arm instantly vaporized, vanishing completely. However, Wang Lin's expression didn't relax. On the contrary, it grew even more solemn. The wind demon, far in the distance, also changed his expression, staring at the sea. A low, thunderous roar echoed from the depths of the sea. The sound was earth-shattering, transforming into a sonic boom that reverberated across the world, masking the roar with a rumbling sound. At the same time, the sea surged violently, rising rapidly. Wang Lin's pupils contracted as he gasped in astonishment at the scene before him. This wasn't the sea rising. What was rising was a massive humanoid figure made entirely of seawater, slowly sitting up from its prone position. It was a giant, so massive that it was impossible to estimate its size. Simply sitting up seemed to threaten to break the sky itself. Its enormous body, entirely composed of seawater, revealed the deep sea beneath as it moved. The sea was gone, replaced by the seawater giant. The giant's blurred features were unrecognizable, but its enormous ears were nothing like those of a cultivator. It coldly fixed its gaze on the tiny figures of Wang Lin and the wind demon, slowly raising its right hand and stirring up massive waves as it reached toward Wang Lin. Before it even got close, a deafening roar followed by a fierce wind rushed toward Wang Lin. He quickly retreated to avoid the incoming hand. ENUS breezy northwest winds today, with gusts up to 30 mph tonight, will be mostly clear with a low around 47 degrees Fahrenheit and lighter north winds between 5 to 15 ahead to Sunday. There's a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, with a high near 68 degrees Fahrenheit and light north night will be mostly clear with a low around 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me know if you'd like more details or an extended forecast. Under the continuous burning, the sea giant struggled in vain. Its body shrank rapidly amidst the dissipating water mist. Just as it was about to vanish entirely, a deafening roar erupted from it. The seawater surrounding its body wildly contracted in the flames, finally condensing into a droplet. It broke through the surrounding sea of fire and shot straight toward Wang Lin. The vermilion bird's voice sounded once more, as the vermilion bird, wreathed in flames, closely pursued the water droplet. The droplet's speed was so fast that it nearly reached Wang Lin in the blink of an eye. It was clearly a final counterattack before death. Wang Lin's expression remained calm, showing no signs of panic. His right eye flashed with cyan light, and just as the droplet was about to reach him, a cyan light shield appeared in front of him. With a loud boom, the cyan light shield was immediately struck by a massive force, pushing it back several inches, but it did not shatter. It firmly blocked the droplet's attack. At the same time, the vermilion bird approached, swirling in a sea of flames. A single sweep of its fiery presence dispersed the water droplet, releasing an unimaginable amount of heat. The droplet rapidly shrank and, with a final struggling roar, disappeared completely. In the vast expanse of heaven and earth, the sea giant's roar still echoed, but in that instant, as the droplet vanished, it felt as though the entire world was collapsing. A thunderous crash rang out, and the sky seemed to be torn apart, with even the earth and the sea bottom crumbling inch by inch. This collapse lasted only a few moments, and soon the world shattered into countless fragments, revealing patches of greenery beneath the earth. The entire sea realm, which was actually a dewdrop resting on a leaf in a cultivation cave's flower thicket, disappeared. Wang Lin only felt a blur before his vision cleared. He found himself once again in the flower thicket, where it had originally vanished. In the instant the sea realm collapsed, the wind demon shot out at full speed, attempting to break through another barrier and escape. However, as soon as she burst forth, Wang Lin's figure materialized before her. Startled, the wind demon tried to retreat, but suddenly, a cold voice sounded in her ears. "Freeze." The wind demon's body abruptly froze. Though she recovered almost instantly, that brief moment was enough for Wang Lin. He raised his right hand and pressed it against a scar on the wind demon's face. With a hiss, the scar on her face instantly vanished, revealing her fair skin. Yao Shixue, I will not kill you. Instead, I will save you. This will resolve this karmic bond, and you will meet your father. From now on, we will part ways, never to cross paths again. Wang Lin's right hand did not hesitate. Each time he pressed it against the wind demon's body, a frightening scar closed up. The speed was so fast that it almost turned into an afterimage. As the effect of the body immobilization art wore off, Wang Lin immediately cast another one, freezing the wind demon once again. Fear appeared in her eyes. She had clearly realized what Wang Lin was about to do. With each of Wang Lin's touches, the countless scars on the wind demon's body grew fewer, until finally, there were no more scars. Before him stood the wind demon, restored to the beautiful appearance she had in the past. Her skin, fair as jade, looked so delicate it seemed like it could break with a touch, exuding a translucent luster and captivating elegance. In that fleeting moment, Wang Lin seemed to see Yao Shixue from the land of demonic spirits again. With one final press, Wang Lin touched her brow. In that instant, the wind demon's entire body shuddered. She remembered their first battle, where, with his strange teleportation divine ability, Wang Lin could have severely injured her in that split second, but chose instead to touch her brow. In that moment of danger, she hadn't had time to think much, but now, as Wang Lin's finger once again touched her brow, she had an inkling of understanding. The first touch was to merge her memory with Yao Shixue's, creating a flaw. With that touch, there was a chance for rescue, Wang Lin murmured to himself. At the instant his final finger touched her brow, his eyes gleamed with a strange light. That gaze, when met by the wind demon, instantly sent a chill down her spine. If you truly completed your promise to Yao Shixue and helped her with her vengeance, then you would not have been an outsider in this karmic cycle. You would have been part of it. In that case, I would not interfere with you. But you did not do so. You deceived Yao Shixue, and though I will not care about that, you have disrupted the one and only karmic shift that fused with my cycle of life and death and my transition into the concept of cause and effect. Moreover, your inheritance is but a memory. In reality, you've long since perished. The one before me now is not truly you, but Yao Shixue, who has not died. Only her memory remains. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with an even more strange light, slowly opening his mouth and suddenly sucking in a deep breath toward the wind demon. Within the clear water immortal art, the most domineering technique, devour, was unleashed for the first time by Wang Lin. What he devoured was the demonic aura within Yao Shixue's body. With that single inhalation, the wind demon's eyes were filled with utter terror. She could feel her demonic aura surging out uncontrollably, all of it being drawn into the mouth of the cultivator before her. The demonic aura surged around the wind demon, continuously pouring into Wang Lin. At the final moment, even the deeply engraved memories within Yao Shixue's soul essence were absorbed into Wang Lin's essence spirit. You shouldn't have left memories in Yao Shixue's soul essence. There is no enmity between us. I'll find another vessel for you. The fear in Yao Shixue's eyes slowly faded. Her body trembled, and confusion clouded her gaze. She was extremely weak. The moment she regained a sliver of consciousness, she staggered back several steps, dazed and disoriented. You are. Yao Shixue stared blankly at Wang Lin, her mind a void. No matter how hard she tried to remember, nothing came. It was as if her entire past had been erased. That memoryless dread surfaced immediately, and it showed plainly on her face. At that moment, she appeared utterly helpless, her fear clearly reflected in Wang Lin's eyes. Your name is Yao Shixue, and I am someone from your past. Yao Shixue, she murmured softly, still lost in confusion. Yet her gaze toward Wang Lin now carried a hint of wariness. Wang Lin sighed inwardly. As he opened his mouth, a ghostly light emerged. The sight startled Yao Shixue, prompting her to cry out and retreat further. Her fearful gaze no longer bore wariness. It had turned into pure terror. Having lost all her memories, she was like a mortal witnessing a celestial performing divine arts for the first time. The immortal sealing seal of the 18 hells appeared before Wang Lin. He remained silent for a moment, then pointed with his right hand at the 14th layer. Within that layer, there was only one soul, shrouded in blood mist, its faintly visible form radiating overwhelming hatred. It was the Blood Ancestor. As crimson light spread, red mist gushed from the 14th layer of the immortal sealing seal. Within it, the Blood Ancestor's face was twisted with bloodlust, his eyes locked fiercely on Wang Lin. But then, he sensed Yao Shishua's presence. Slowly turning to face her, the ferocity on his face faded, replaced by gentleness. Not far away, Yao Shishue stood pale and dazed, staring blankly at the scene unfolding before her. Blood Ancestor, I once promised to let you see your daughter again. Now, I have fulfilled that promise, Wang Lin said. With a wave of his hand, the red mist surrounding the Blood Ancestor dissipated, lifting the restriction seal that had bound him. The Blood Ancestor's soul flickered with crimson light, gradually solidifying until it formed a humanoid shape. As he looked upon his daughter, his eyes brimmed with emotion. The grudge of the past ends here. Yao Shishue plotted against me and was sealed for hundreds of years. You, Blood Ancestor, sought my life and met this fate. I count it as the karma owed. She became a puppet of the Wind Demon in pursuit of revenge. I've now saved her once. Let that be the closure to our past. From this day forward, there will be no more ties between the two of you and me, Wang Lin. The karmic bond is severed. If there's further entanglement, do not blame me for showing no mercy. I will destroy you both, soul annihilation, with no hope of reincarnation. Wang Lin's voice was calm, yet carried a cold finality. With a flick of his sleeve, he turned and walked into the distance. You need not return to the 14th layer of the immortal sealing seal. You're free now. Stay with your daughter for the rest of her life. This is the land of demonic spirits, within an immortal emperor's cave mansion. You may find a place to wait until the realm fully opens, and then leave. Yao Shishue's gaze lingered on Wang Lin's fading figure, her eyes filled with confusion. She couldn't remember anything, not even a faint impression. Deep down, she didn't want to remember. It was as if a voice echoed in her mind, telling her, the past is over, like yesterday's wind and today's dust. When they return, dust returns to dust and soil to soil. She could tell that voice belonged to herself before the memory loss, leaving behind these final words. The Blood Ancestor looked back at Wang Lin's departing silhouette, his expression complicated. Now that the seal was undone, his mind had fully recovered. Though still a soul, his cultivation from the past would allow him to endure, and perhaps find a way to cultivate once again. Wang Lin's figure receding into the distance no longer stirred hatred in him. The Blood Ancestor understood. If Wang Lin had wanted them dead, it would have been effortless. Yet, instead, he had given him freedom, and his daughter a new life. With a long sigh, he let go of his hatred. What mattered now was his daughter's safety. Though she had lost her memories, perhaps that was for the best. After all that had happened, the Blood Ancestor felt his heart had aged. All he wished for now was for his daughter to live in peace. He looked at Yao Shishue with gentle affection and softly said, Come, child, let's go. Having lost her memory, Yao Shishue felt a deep, instinctive trust in the Blood Ancestor, a trust rooted in bloodline. Silently, she walked over to his side, and the father and daughter gradually moved farther away. Father, was what he said just now true? Truth or falsehood no longer matters. From this moment on, we will have no more ties with him. Do not dwell on it. He is not someone we can provoke, the Blood Ancestor said, glancing back into the distance. He could no longer see through Wang Lin. This person is no longer the junior I once dismissed. Over the past few centuries, he has grown to such a degree. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he slowly walked forward. The actions he had taken regarding Yao Shishue and the karmic consequences they carried might be difficult to explain from another angle, but as long as he believed it was the right path, then the karma would unfold as it should. Step by step, Wang Lin moved farther away. A powerful aura slowly began to condense around him. With each step, this aura grew stronger, until it surged like a tidal wave. In the midst of this overwhelming energy, Wang Lin's eyes grew increasingly bright. At this stage, his Dao heart had resolved matters concerning Yao Shishue, freeing him from this karma and reaching a state of completeness. In that moment of perfection, Wang Lin clearly sensed that the cultivation he had struggled to advance in for so long was finally beginning to break through, like glaciers melting. In the distance, Yao Shixue and the blood ancestor vanished within a restriction seal, waiting for the day when the cave mansion would open. Looking around, Wang Lin was alone within the cave mansion, with no one else in sight. The remains of the immortal burial pool still lay on the ground, its destruction leaving behind a ruined wasteland. Not far off, a massive pit, created by the collapse of the immortal burial pool, exhaled a faint, cold mist. After surveying his surroundings, Wang Lin's gaze fell ahead. This place was merely the outer perimeter of the immortal emperor's cave mansion, not yet near the inner sanctum. From here, he could vaguely see a cluster of pavilions and buildings in the distance. These buildings, arranged in a complex formation, formed an irregular pattern. At the far end, Wang Lin could just make out the faint outline of a grand hall, hidden within a dense cloud of black mist. Wang Lin paused in thought, his eyes flashing. He tapped his storage pouch, and immediately a jade slip appeared in his hand. This jade slip, crafted from immortal jade, emitted a soft, gentle glow. This jade slip was something Wang Lin had obtained from the land of flower spirits. It contained the methods for refining immortal guards and the incantation for the body immobilization art. Wang Lin remembered carefully studying it when he first acquired it, and inside, there was also a map. The map had seemed unfamiliar to him back then, so he had paid little attention to it. But now, as his gaze circled the cave mansion, a feeling of recognition emerged. Recalling the map within the jade slip, Wang Lin took it out and focused his divine sense into it. Instantly, his expression shifted as he realized the map depicted none other than the immortal emperor's cave mansion before him. Wang Lin carefully examined the map, committing every detail to memory. After a brief pause, he did not act hastily. Instead, he took a few steps back and approached the deep pit left by the immortal burial pool, looking down into it. The pit was pitch black, and even his gaze could not penetrate its depths. This place will do. Wang Lin took a step forward, and immediately, he sank into the pit. However, instead of falling rapidly, he descended slowly for dozens of meters. Once he reached that depth, he tapped his storage pouch again, and several large swords flew out, swiftly cutting through the pit's walls. The sound of stones shattering filled the air, and moments later, a hole appeared in the pit wall. Wang Lin's body swayed as he slipped through the hole and sat cross-legged inside. Taking a deep breath, Wang Lin formed hand seals and spent a long time setting up restrictions around the cave entrance. Only then did he settle down. He tapped his storage pouch once more, and a silver light shot out, transforming into an enchanting woman. The woman glanced at Wang Lin, but said nothing. She instead sat down at the edge of the cave entrance to guard him. As Wang Lin observed the silver-clad female corpse, he couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed after absorbing the poison from the Sea of Flowers. But what exactly had changed, he could not pinpoint. A sweep of his divine sense revealed that the controlling seal he had placed inside the corpse was still intact, unaffected by any damage. Furthermore, all the hidden restrictions were still intact. Reassured, Wang Lin closed his eyes and began to meditate. Now that my cultivation has shown signs of loosening, I must seize this opportunity to make a breakthrough. Only then will I have a better chance of survival within this perilous immortal emperor's cave mansion. As his eyes closed, the primordial energy inside Wang Lin began to circulate. Waves of heated energy radiated out from his body, but it remained contained, not dispersing beyond a 10-foot radius. The conceptual realm experienced a breakthrough due to the matter concerning Yao Shixue. At this moment, as the primordial energy circulated within Wang Lin's body, the cultivation that had stagnated at the peak mid-glimpse of Nirvana stage began to loosen significantly. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had gone by. Throughout those 3 days, Wang Lin remained completely motionless, continuously channeling the energy within his body. The speed of its flow grew ever faster, and by the end, it had become a seamless, boundless stream, without beginning, without end. During those 3 days, the silver-robed female corpse silently stood guard over Wang Lin. Her gaze would occasionally settle on him and linger for a long time. In her eyes, there was a hint of confusion, but every time it surfaced, It was instantly and deeply hidden away. On the fourth day, Wang Lin opened his eyes. After a moment of silence, he slapped his storage pouch, retrieving several essence spirits of the people he had slain. Without hesitation, he swallowed them whole. The heaven and earth energy here isn't enough. This is the only way to break through. As Wang Lin's cultivation base surged, striving to ascend beyond the mid-glimpse of Nirvana stage, a scene unfolded far away, outside the immortal emperor's cave mansion, in the depths of the starry sky, a sight that left all who saw it within the cultivation alliance utterly shaken. In the dazzling yet shadowy heavens, a crimson blaze began to spread in the distance, as if a sea of fire was sweeping through, seeking to reduce the stars themselves to nothingness. The red flames approached rapidly. The closer they came, the more blindingly brilliant they grew. From afar, one could see an endless inferno racing across the edge of the starry void at unimaginable speed. At the forefront of this sea of fire was a colossal vermilion bird, its wings spanning hundreds of miles, soaring arrogantly through the sky. Its entire body was composed of raging fire. Even from afar, an unimaginable heat spread across the starry void. The sheer presence of such a vermilion bird was enough to shake the soul of any cultivator. Wherever it passed, all cultivators reacted instinctively, their pupils constricted in terror, scrambling to evade, not daring to come near. The more knowledgeable among the powerful cultivators, the moment they saw the massive vermilion bird, had an ancient name explode in their minds like thunder. Vermilion Bird Sacred Sect.